Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Star Delta Nine's channel. I appreciate you so much. Today, I want to talk about a few things because this energy is so strong and it's a topic that came up. So, I want to talk about how we can overcome Lightworker syndrome. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you've not heard of it. But I am Star Delta 9 and I am going to be your host, and I'm going to be discussing this. How do we overcome this? I was talking to somebody about what my next catalyst might be for more change for me. And as a light worker myself who carries a torch for spiritual enlightenment, and I seek to uplift humanity, sometimes I kind of feel torn between my higher consciousness and the demands of the physical world. I'm sure all of you feel the same way from time to time. I think light worker syndrome is a real phenomenon. I don't think it's fake. I don't think it's made up. And it occurs when an individual like myself has reached a higher level of consciousness, and yet they seem to be resisting their growth, right? They're not acknowledging the fact that they're a light worker. They get trapped in sometimes thinking, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I haven't been educated enough, I don't know if I'm have enough clients, how do I even get started? And down the rabbit hole they go, right? And so sometimes it's really difficult to overcome those challenges that we sometimes tell ourselves. So I myself have been torn between the higher consciousness and the demands of the physical world. And I think a lot of light workers have had the same experience. And sometimes I struggle to maintain my connection to the spiritual realm while remaining grounded in the material realm, right? I was speaking about it to a friend and I said, I go out into the world and I run across individuals that are not enlightened, they're not awakened, and they don't even have a clue, right? And it's very difficult because you can see the agenda they have and how destructive they're being to themselves and the pain they're causing themselves, and they don't even realize it. And so that's how come I sometimes struggle in the material world, struggling to maintain that connection with the spiritual realm while remaining in that material world, right? Because I want to help and I want to go up and shake everybody, and I can't do that. So it's really a journey of self-discovery and transformation. And it's essential for me to understand this before I could even understand how to overcome some of these challenges. So again, a greater understanding as a light worker. What would be the catalyst, I said, that would cause me to learn something more and gain some wisdom about becoming a better light worker? Well, I think some advanced individuals can find themselves grappling with the complex interplay of their inner spiritual calling and their external day-to-day responsibilities. I've run across people where you tell them that you're a Reiki master and you provide healing, energy healing, and they think you're talking about woo-woo stuff. And they don't realize that it's the esoteric teachings of Christ and that Jesus was a healer himself, or they're not thinking about it, or they need to be reminded about it, right? And so the same applies to those who I think have embraced the role as a light worker. I encountered it my very self. I often would struggle profoundly with, how do I stay deeply connected to a higher spiritual state of consciousness while simultaneously staying grounded in the practicalities of everyday life? How I do it is I stay in the now and I focus on breath, and the wise keep their eye on the timeless. And so I keep my eye on the timeless and I focus on breath. And if I feel some turmoil or some discord arising, I just go deeper into breath, right? I've experienced inner turmoil, frustration, and even fell into a deep depression. And I would want to even escape from it all at times, right? It was like I was compelled to make an agonizing choice, like either I could maintain my spiritual connection or stay ungrounded. Or do I forsake my calling? Just be more anchored in the physical world. It was a serious predicament that I found myself in, and it forced me to it kind of, not really forced me, but it put me in a position to where I often felt I was making seemingly impossible compromises in life, where I felt either trapped in an unfulfilling financial driven job that lacked purpose, or by pursuing some center work that barely paid the bills, right? Minimum wage. It really took a toll on me. So I struggled to find some sort of balance with the spiritual mission that I'm on and the financial stability that I'm requiring to keep a roof over my head, right? So it's like things that I used to do no longer fulfill me. They no longer bring joy to my life, right? And it's so weird. I always felt like, am I compromising? And is somebody's not getting what they need, right? Because of this, because I need to fulfill my financial responsibilities and keep a roof over my head and pay my auto insurance and buy food and keep food on the table, right? If I take a job that's paying me $20 an hour and it lacks purpose and drive, is that the better alternative? Or should the light worker pursue forward and to believe and trust that they have this, and that God and creator, source, however you identify, will bring you the things that you need to do this? It was hard for me to stay on my spiritual path from time to time, because if I did, I was worried about making ends meet, right? I was like, okay, I'm going to stay here, and I don't have any clients yet for Reiki, and I'm just going to keep going and have faith that I'm going to get a new Reiki client, right? And I would set myself an intention, like try to seek out a couple clients a week, post something, go visit some of the centers, go to the Cancer Support Center and offer your services for free. Go to the VA and offer some services there for free, right? And so I wanted to do all those things, and I did those things, and I was gung-ho about doing them, but those did not pay the bills, right? And so you kind of grapple back and forth with, okay, I this is my path, this is my purpose, this is what I want to do. I'm a light worker, I'm awakened, and I want to make a difference in humanity. I want to help, right? But I want to be able to pay my bills. And if I take an unfulfilling job that lacked purpose, or by pursuing purpose-centered work that barely paid my bills, there was a huge trade-off that I noticed. It was a trade-off of unhappiness, discord, and I don't want to do that. And so that's what took the toll on me. So I struggled to find that balance. And I think a lot of light workers struggle to find that balance, because they'll say, oh, she's a Reiki practitioner, and they'll say, well, go and see her. And so someone tells someone, and then they tell another, and they tell another. And so it's not like you have a brick and mortar on the corner opened, right? So to stay mindful on my spiritual path, I needed to not worry about making ends meet, right? If I want to take a job that pays well yet doesn't inspire me, it would ensure that maybe ends would meet, right? I could make ends meet, but neither was a great decision for me. I was trying to strike some sort of balance, right? And it's a common misconception among light workers that they have to choose between their spiritual calling and their financial abundance. They don't. They don't need to choose. They don't need to choose. And as I sit here and I say that, I remember some of the things I said as I was meditating in my first or second year of having my spiritual awakening. I was on the front porch, and it was a beautiful, beautiful summer day, and I was watching a hummingbird um, just drinking nectar or eating off the petal of a rose. And I said to myself, if not God feedeth the hummingbird on the petal of a rose, would he not take care of you? He would, and he does. So I knew that this was a misconception that I had going on, and that maybe possibly a lot of light workers themselves felt like they had to choose between their spiritual calling and their financial abundance. So I went on a hunt to try to find out if there was any validity to this, and apparently it's light worker syndrome. It's real. Right? Many believed, including me, that I should sacrifice financial success for the sake of my higher purpose, even if it means living on the brink of financial scarcity. Right? Because I've said it so many times, I can live in a box. I don't need much. I don't have an agenda. I don't care about a bank account. I have a huge bank account. I don't care about a big house. I don't care about a fancy car. I don't care about one-upping anybody with the Joneses, right? So here's the truth, really, that should be boldly stated. I don't have to choose between my spiritual path and my financial prosperity. These two aspects of my life are mutually exclusive, and I can create a harmonious existence where both thrive. And all light workers can, but most light workers are empaths, right? And so they're going to try to beat themselves up and say, am I smart enough? Have I learned enough? Have I practiced enough? I don't do it like that person does it. And maybe I should do this. You should not worry about what others think. One. Two, you know who you are. And none of us that are light workers, it's not us that are the light workers. We're simply the conduit in which Creator is using to provide healing to others. And when you provide that healing to others, they heal you back. It's a give situation, right? It's like when clients come to me and they say, how long should I come to you and how many Reiki sessions should I have? Well, it's really not in my hands about how many sessions you have. It's in yours. How many do you think you need? Are they helping you? Do you want to focus on something else? It's basically up to you, because I'm only reminding you of the beautiful snowflake that you are, and that you are a speck of Creator just like I am, and that we're no different. And you don't come to me to get healed, because wouldn't that just set up that would be a contraindication for me to tell my client, you have to come to me to heal. That would indicate that there's something wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with them. Over a period of time, when we grow up, the mind runs the body, right? And the body holds the score. So if you have a trauma in your life that happened in your early years, 8, 9, 10, and it was no fault of your own, you have held that trauma in your body. And sometimes it comes up when it's triggered by somebody or an event, right? And you get upset, or you get angry, or you shut down and you go within, right? You just completely shut down. Those energies can be shifted and moved, and you can show the client how to do it on their own and remind them that the story you're telling yourself about that trauma is not who you are. It's an experience you had and something that happened to you. It's not your fault, right? And so the truth really had to just be boldly stated. I do not have to choose between my spiritual path. I know what I can offer patients, clients, friends. I don't even know how to address them because I've been a nurse for over 40 years almost, right? And I retired. And so everybody was a patient to me. And again, there implies patient. That the patient is seeking something like going to the doctor. I go to the doctor because I have a problem, right? There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with anyone. You're perfect exactly how you are. We just were brought into a collective consciousness with a habitual mind pattern and a limited belief system based on what we were taught in our rearing. And by the time we were 7, we already knew our identity, who we are, how we should act, what we should do, and how we should behave to get the results we want, right? Bad, good, or indifferent, it didn't make any difference. It's something we learned, and it's called a coping mechanism. It's survival at its fittest, because at that age, you're relying on your parents, right? You're relying on your parents for comfort, to feed you, to shelter you, to keep you warm and safe, right? And to provide happiness and joy in your life, right? And so it's no one's fault. It happened, it just is. And no one escaped it. Every single person brought into this collective with a heartbeat has a habitual mind pattern, and it's okay. And so I show them how they can help themselves. And once they make a decision, the outcome is already made. Creator says, when you choose to heal, the healing is already given to you. You don't need to even ask for it. It's given, because you've made an intention and a conscious decision to heal. So that's why I said to myself, I have to stand up and say this boldly, because my spiritual path is the financial prosperity that I experience through my spiritual path has no relevance on whether or not I provide the care, right? I'm doing it anyway. If I stood on the corner and gave it to the homeless, I'm doing it anyway. It doesn't matter. So the financial is really not, it's irrelevant. And I think that's just going to be the adding on, as Jesus puts it, right? And so the two concepts that I really, aspects of life that are not mutually exclusive. Can I create a harmonious existence where I can walk both and thrive? I think I can. I think I am. And the belief of pursuing my life's purpose is incompatible with my financial abundance. That's the second imposed limitation, right? It's self-imposed. I'm telling myself that, and it's based on limiting beliefs that I have. Sorry about that. My son's birthday's coming up, and I know he got his package, but I will call him when I get done. So my belief of pursuing my life's purpose, it's really incompatible with financial abundance, isn't it? And that's all been self-imposed in my mind to me to create a limitation. It was limiting my belief that kept me stuck in a cycle of financial struggle and spiritual longing as a light worker. You know, like where you can attract abundant resources by following your heart. That's what Creator says. And by doing it out of love. That's why I say the financial is really just an adding on, as Jesus puts it, because it's irrelevant, right? Because you're loving what you're doing. You're seeing the results and the joy and the happiness that people are experiencing through your energy healing work and through how you're showing them how to meditate and breath work and body work. And that is what Creator wants us to do, because you and I are the same. We're no different. We're the same. We bleed the same, we feel the same, and we are the same. We don't look the same. Our color of our skin might not be the same. We might not speak the same language. We might not live in the same city. We might be different sexes or have a different job, but that's the point. We're all individual little snowflakes, and you're precious, and you are a microcosm to the huge macrocosm consciousness, God. So these self-imposed limitations that I put on myself, and I know other light workers have, because I've actually had discussions with them, it probably limited their belief too and kept them stuck in some sort of I call it financial lack cycle, right? Here's the real story about manifestation. If I say, I'm always going to be poor, I'm always going to be poor, I'm always going to be poor, I'm always going to be a blue collar worker and work paycheck to paycheck, as soon as you say that and throw that out there into the universe, Creator is going to give you more of that, because you're asking for more of it. You're saying that's what you're only going to be, right? I don't say that. I flip it, like I've always said, flip it like a booga and say, I am abundant. Everything is working out perfectly for me. Money flows in and out. Money is commerce, it's energy. That's all it is. And we live in a universe on the cross, right? That requires commerce to keep a roof over our head. And that's it. That's it, right? It's energy. And so you respect the energy and you give to the energy and it gives back to you. That's how manifestation works, right? So it's so interesting because I actually love what I'm doing and it loves me back, if that makes any sense, right? So I want any of the other light workers that are maybe listening or run across this, reject the notion that staying financially deprived is somehow noble or the only way to serve others in reality, because it is one of the biggest fallacies and lies you're telling yourself. Financial abundance can empower us, yes. It can make us even more sufficient, right? A more significant impact on the world, you think. Grappling with that is what light worker syndrome is. Well, if I could only have $10,000 here, then it would help me to do my job and reach more people in reality. And when you start behaving like that, you're commanding how Creator wants, how you want Creator to behave. You're not in control. If you think you're in control, you're not. That song, who sings that song? Jesus has the will, right? Jesus has the will. And Jesus was a healer. And Jesus traveled this plane, right? And he carried with him his healer. Do you think he was getting paid? Probably not, right? And Matteo Sui, when he began the Reiki years and years ago on that mountain, he went out and gave Reiki to the homeless and the sick that could not afford care. His father was so upset with him, right? Because he was supposed to be the next king of some nation. And he went up on a mountain and became a Reiki master. And you can look his story up, Matteo Sui, Reiki.org. It's one of the biggest healing organizations statewide in the United States, and it's been around for a very long time. So I want you to reject that notion. Staying financially deprived is not noble. It's the only way to serve reality? No. You can serve reality on a street corner, right? You can serve people. Financial abundance, yes, it can empower us. I don't need financial abundance to where I'm overflowing. I'd give it to somebody. I'd give it away. I'd give it to the poor. I'd help more. I say those things to myself too, but I don't base my intention on it. I'll give this healing if I get that. I don't do that. I go and give free healing, right? I give free healing, lots. And they heal and I heal, and it's so beautiful, and I feel so good when I leave, and through that they tell someone and someone contacts me, right? It's really weird. And that's the adding on that I'm talking about, that Jesus talks about in the Bible. So financial abundance, I think that some people think it can empower them, but if you're slumbering, your intentions and your agenda to have financial abundance are not good, and you're harming yourself and your family and the people around you. Just go look on social media. Money is the root of all evil, right? And it can make even the most horrible impact or the most significant impact on the world. So don't grapple with that anymore. Don't grapple with whether or not you should do your job as a light worker. Do it. Even if you say, because I said this, well, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do, where to start. That's what I said. I said, well, why don't you start with hospice? Like Vitas, it's an in-house patient center for hospice patients. Go in there and talk to the administrator and ask if you can donate your Reiki services to any of those patients that are on hospice. And they put it in the works so quickly. And hospice and AA and some of those psych facilities, those should be ashrams. Those should be ashrams, because the patients, some of them that I've treated there, they are having such a struggle with the latent phases of their life. They know they're terminal and they're on hospice, and they're struggling, right? And they're scared and they're frightened. And they tell me that when I come and do a treatment, that their fear subsides, and they are very peaceful and serene, and they can feel nothing but love. And if I can give that to them, I'm giving it to them. It's my God, why wouldn't you, right? So my belief is I'm going to pursue my life's purpose, and I'm going to reject the notion of financial deprivity. I don't know, however you want to say it, right? Financial abundance doesn't empower me. It empowers some people. The only way it would empower me is to give it away and help more that need it, right? That are living on the street and that don't have a job, and that maybe don't have food or something of that nature. So I don't think light workers just heal. Light workers are there for many other modalities for the clients than you can even imagine. So you might ask yourself, why do some light workers find themselves grappling with light worker syndrome? What would you think? Maybe the answer is that it lies deeply rooted, and it's really deeply rooted in fear that they're not enough, right? Fear that they're not smart enough, that somebody's done it better or longer. The fear of what might happen, and this is the number one, if I truly succeed. If I succeed, then, oh my God, what am I going to do? And that's what they fear, success. Ask yourself this: what if my life's purpose was not just a calling, but a path of extraordinary success? What would you say then? What if pursuing your passion led to these remarkable achievements? What if you shined your light so brightly that it illuminated the way for countless others to find that light? Right? I mean, I'm going to be the first one in line standing up and helping others find their light. These questions are are empowering, aren't they? And they can be, yes, intimidating, and the fear of success is real. And what often will sabotage our ability to maintain that stable connection to that spiritual source? I would say, while remaining grounded in reality, you you might disagree with this at first, but just as many others have too as well, so it's okay. But let's explore why fear is so insidious and how it keeps you from achieving the balance you seek. Balancing your spiritual connection and grounding yourself in the physical world, right? Is it an attainable goal, or is it just an abstract? It's problematic. It's problem, right? But it's achievable, and it's an achievable aspiration I have, and that many, many, many others do have. Excuse me, I have a little cold, I think. Imagine this. On one hand, you have your life's purpose, your spiritual beliefs, and your profound sense of connection to all living beings, right? And these aspects of your existence provides you with immense motivation to serve and to assist others throughout the day, right? But then on the other hand, let's say you reside in the physical world with its inherent need to provide you your basic necessities, which often translate into income. I think the key is to find a way to harmonize those two dimensions of your life, right? Because it'll come up. And I think if you do that, you do that, there's a bridge, and that bridge will bring in the gap between your spiritual calling and your material needs at the core level, right? Spirit's not going to place you out into a universe, right? And show you that you're a healer or shamanic, or your whatever it is your gifts are. Spirit's not going to place you in the lion's den, so to speak, right? With no way out or no way for help, right? The things are going to open up and display themselves when you least expect it, right? That's how spirit works. And I have to tell you and remind you here, consciousness is very, very, very subtle. If you are trapped in the mental chatter of the mind, you're going to miss it, because it is very, very, very subtle. The physical world, I mean, if you look at Nova, I think it's Nova who does the documentaries where they talk about, is the brain in control, or is the brain perception or deception? If you watch those movies, that I think they're on YouTube, or watch them on the Discovery Channel at home, you'll see how amazing your brain is, and it's a machine. And this bag of bones we're in is your avatar, and this isn't who you are, right? You are not the body, the mind. You're not even the emotions or the thoughts you think, right? But you think you are, and that is a delusion. That is the trick of the mind. That is how I said at the beginning, Every one of us were born into a collective with limited false beliefs, lies. When I had my spiritual awakening, the lies that that I was shown, here's one big one. My parents told me there was a gentleman in the sky with a beard that was going to atone me for my sins, and that's where I was going when I passed away. Well, you would think as a kid, you would say, where's heaven? How long does it take to get there? Do you know anybody that's gone there, or a family member that's told you their member's gone there? What's the coordinates? God is a concept. God is an ideology we were taught through religion, whatever your sector of religion was. Creator is consciousness. You can call him God because he is God, Jesus, but God doesn't confuse himself within his son. They're one of the same. So when his son was crucified on the cross, the minute they made a decision to do that, the outcome was already decided. God said, you have everlasting life. You will never perish. So if you weren't born, you can't perish. And so this topic about working with patients and being a light worker is so immensely important. So many patients that are in the latent areas of their life on hospice or going through cancer, or they're having an issue, or they've lost a loved one, and they're experiencing terminal agitation to the point they are so stressed out, they can't sleep, and they're so scared. And since I was a nurse and graduated in 1989, I swore my patient would never die alone, right? That I would be there if at all possible, right? And so the joy the comfort that comes to me through donating services to a hospice center, priceless. I can't even put words on it. I can't even put a word on it, how priceless it is. I'm so humbled and grateful that they allow me to do it. And it's amazing. So I want to try to bridge this gap between your spiritual calling and your material needs at their core, right? These two facets of your existence, they're not there, and they shouldn't be conflicted, right? They're complementary to one another, right? To your spiritual side. This is going to provide you a unwavering motivation to infuse yourself and your passion and energy into your healing, and it's going to provide you so much energy and so much inner peace. So much. Patients ask me all the time, you are so happy, you look so happy, you look so peaceful. How do I get that? First, I say I am extremely happy and blissful and love. All I feel is love, joy, and compassion inside. That's all I feel. And it's coming from the inside of me, right? I didn't buy a brand new shiny car and fall in love. I didn't have a lottery ticket that just hit $15 million. And so now everything is perfect, right? People, places, and things cannot bring you what this is. It comes from the inside, and it is pure, unadulterated, unconditional love, and it is rocking you with a vibrational cadence that is so smooth that you would swear your mother's rocking you in her arms, right? And you feel such joy and such peace, and you just want to go around and give it to everybody. And so if I can bridge this gap between your calling and what your material needs might be, try to remember that they're complementary to your spiritual side. This provides you an unwavering motivation, doesn't it? If they're complementary to each other, go to a couple centers that where you can donate services, right? Even if you're a new Reiki practitioner, you got to practice for 21 days on your fast, right? And you have to be at least going into your second year, your second level of Reiki before you can start treating clients, right? And so that's a good year or so, but you can donate services to people and build clientele and rapport and love and trust, right? And go to places that have your heart, like establishments that you really resonate with. Maybe it's a department that has developmentally disabled children. That's a really nice department to go and do Reiki on those kids. They, oh my God, they love it. And the nurses appreciate you so much. They get probably a good hour where they're not being called on the call light because the child's with you, but they're not saying a word and they're in bliss because you're administering Reiki to them. It's beautiful. And so you never know what avenue creator or what door creator is going to open. So the motivation will drive your actions, it will inspire your work, and it will empower you to make positive impacts, and it will happen simultaneously. Next to it, you'll be completely grounded. If it's properly cultivated, it will offer you stability. It will offer you financial security. It will offer you freedom to explore your financial pursuits in a greater depth. So let's address kind of like the elephant in the room, shall we? Because it was a big old elephant for me. Big old pink elephant. The fear of success. I can remember vaguely some portion of a conversation where my mother said to me, "What's your problem? You're afraid of succeeding." And I don't even remember what I was trying to do because it was at a younger age. But the fear of success is real. It's very real. And many light workers, including me, fought with the fear at some point in their journey. And it's not the fear of failure that holds you back. It's the fear of what might happen if you achieve this unprecedented success. The fear of success manifests as an inner voice, the question, "Oh, you're worthless." Your ability to handle responsibility and your capacity to make a significant impact in the world, you can't do it. And that's what I'll tell you. Or am I truly qualified to do this job? That's what it'll ask you too. Am I truly qualified to guide others and improve their life? And it's the ego, because the ego will creep up through the back door, through the sides, top or bottom. It does not care, and tell you you're not worthy. You don't know enough. You're not a healer. It'll tell you all kinds of things. It will lie to you, and it will change sides at the drop of a hat. It doesn't care. It wants you to engage it. So these doubts can be even at, I mean, at some point, I even said, I am literally glued to this chair. I was so upset. And it was that I felt so, the doubts were so paralyzing that it trapped me in a cycle of hesitation and self-doubt. And then that hesitation and self-doubt would just re-loop itself back onto each other, right? But the revelation is that the fear of success is precisely the most effective way to increase your income, is to help more people genuinely, right? Don't do it out of I'm going to do this because I'm going to get paid for it. Do it genuinely out of your heart, right? Out of love. It's not a complex task, but it's one that becomes challenging when your beliefs limit your progress, when you're presented with this, I don't know, simple strategies to double their income by doubling the people that you help. It's not how it works. I'd rather see one patient a day, one client a day, than 10 clients a day. I would rather help one client a day than treat 10 clients and help none. Because I don't know if you're familiar with energy work. I meditate for a good hour before the client comes. I don't have them tell me any of their problems, like medical problems, and I don't ask for any symptoms that they're having, just general discussion of how they are and their activities of daily living, right? And so I don't do that to my clients. I want to give them the best care I can. I want to meditate. I want to light a candle. I want to create a beautiful room with wonderful scents of aroma. I want to have the bed really beautifully made up. It's a portable bed, Reiki bed, massage table, and the sheets are so soft they're like butter, and it smells so yummy. And then I do essential oils with them, and I get their energy systems moving, and then I do Reiki. They fall asleep in there. Literally fall asleep very quickly. So if these doubts maybe come up in your life and they're paralyzing you in some sort of cycle of hesitation and self-doubt, just know that the fear of success is precisely the most effective way to increase your income. If you're afraid, do it anyway, right? Genuinely. If you're scared to do it and your heart's pounding, you know how they say, go up there and give a speech, and you say, I can't, I'm not good at talking. And you go, your heart's beating away, you feel like you're going to stutter and trip over yourself just walking to the stage. The more scared you are, the more fear you fear, the better you will do. I promise you. And the revelation of that fear, right, of success, it's precisely what's going to be more effective for you and increase your income and help you to help more people just by, I can't even say it would be osmosis, but just by repetition of doing what you're doing. Light workers respond with resistance and excuses, right? Some light workers, many light workers, they have excuses and resistance, and that's the resistance is the root cause, and it often is concealed deep within them, right? They're not even aware they're doing it, and it's within them, and it's based on fear of what might happen if they genuinely succeed at something, right? To overcome light worker syndrome, they have to succeed. They can't, you're giving up on yourself. Don't give up on yourself. You must confront the fear of success head on, just like you would confront any other challenge. And you need to acknowledge that your inner barriers are the primary obstacle to achieving this balance. I mean, I even said to myself, I want to do this every day, all day long, right? It's it's it doesn't take anything out of me. I meditate for an hour. I give them a treatment, which is a full hour, and I do not book more than one client in a day. I want my full attention on that client, and I want them to know that I'm there for them, and they end up being more so not just my friends. They begin walking a spiritual path and they open up that gap for consciousness to come in and for them to experience an awakening. And I love it because I want to tap everybody with my little fairy wand and say, wake up, wake up, wake up, right? So just confront your fears of success. confront them head on and acknowledge that it's a barrier for you, and that your primary obstacle to achieving that balance in your life is to walk through it, baby, right? Those barriers, if you don't, you're going to manifest external health problems in yourself, right? Or a financial crisis, or an unfulfilling relationship, and a host of other distracting problems that you can bring up for yourself, right? Oh, I can't do it now because I'm having an issue over here. Or I can't do it now because me and my spouse are not on the same page. They don't believe I'm a healer, or they don't believe I'm a light worker, and I do. Those are barriers, and those will manifest externally in your life. And if they manifest externally in your life, they will cause health problems in the body, because the body holds the score. So imagine for a moment you're a light worker, and your entire life has been about helping others achieve enlightenment and healing, and somebody just stuffs that out, and you stop doing it. Imagine how that would make you feel. Don't stuff your light out for another. And light workers will do that because they're huge empaths to begin with, right? And so this can cause real root resistance. And it often is really, like I said, concealed really deep down. If you work with someone and they don't, and you ask them, do you work with someone, or do you have a guru or a teacher or something that you go to? And if the person says no, I wouldn't work with them anymore. I wouldn't, because I always say I don't know everything, and I'm growing just like you, right? We're growing together. This is not a I do this alone. This is a we do it together type thing, right? And so I said, absolutely, I do, and I consult them on a regular basis, because I mean, imagine if someone taught you how to peel an apple, right? Just a simple apple. One uses a peeler, the other one uses a paring knife, right? And you learn a specific way. It's everybody learns, and everybody does something in a different way, right? So don't acknowledge that somebody else is better than you because they do it a different way, or I don't even know what to say about it, because I don't engage in that kind of conversation in my brain to myself, because every single person that I run across that's a light worker, when I go to the Reiki circle down at Earth Tones, I go like once every it's the second or third Wednesday of each month, second Wednesday of each month. And we give Reiki, the masters come in and give Reiki to the people that come in off the streets, right, for free. And they just place a little donation in the bowl if they can and want to. I love doing that. Absolutely love doing that. Think about doing something like that. Look up in your area and see if there's any like spiritual stores that sells crystals, or anybody that offers massage. Maybe they have a Reiki studio too, and they can offer Reiki. Go and do a treatment. Go and ask them questions, because we always can learn something from another, right? I don't know everything, and I've always said it. When I went to work at Albertsons, I didn't know how to peel a watermelon. You don't even peel it, how to cut a watermelon. But when she showed me how to do it, it was the best way to cut a watermelon, and I never cut it any other way since. But I was 58 years old and I hadn't seen that, right, when I was there. So we learn from everyone we see, even if it is a client or a patient, doesn't matter, you learn. So just confront the fears, right? And just remember that you are the one who is you can unconsciously manifest these challenges for yourself because you resonate with fear, right? It's time to really just recognize that you won't find a solution in the problem by dwelling at the same level of thinking that created it in the first place. You have to break free from light worker syndrome, I'm going to say. You have to accept that You're a creator, right? Of your own reality, both internal and external. Your fears, your doubts, and your limited beliefs are the root cause of struggles, your struggles. I would say as you kind of embark on your journey to overcoming this, you will discover that responsibility is not a burden you once believed it to be. Instead, you'll say, becomes a profound privilege for me to do this, and my inner power carried me with its own inherent responsibility to make a positive difference in the world and to help others. So my responsibility to help others grew bigger and bigger and bigger. And then it was so weird how it just grew like that, right? I didn't feel like I had to go do it like a burden, like a means to an end. I wanted to go in inherent responsibility, and it made it these positive differences to me and to the world. I wanted others to grow and to use these unique talents and gifts and to uplift humanity too. And they did. And it was just, it's like, it's contagious. It's so beautiful. So if you have this newfound sense of responsibility and it doesn't weigh you down and it uplifts you, it will infuse your life. It'll infuse your life with purpose and with meaning and fulfillment when you recognize your inner power and you embrace the responsibility that it brings you, right? It's not a burden, it's a responsibility, and you want to help more and more people, right? And so it will unleash a torrent of motivation within you and passion that you will find yourself propelled by this deep desire to contribute to the world and to leave a lasting legacy of love, of compassion, of positive change. I mean, don't you want your children's children and to see that and to honor that kind of legacy? True power is going to emanate from and within you. And when you really have the potential to achieve greatness, because you do, don't hesitate to act upon it. You are not powerless. You're simply inactive. That's all, right? Your inaction doesn't absolve you. Hear me again. Your inaction does not absolve you or relinquish any responsibility that you have. It's merely relinquishes control. That's it. So this realization can both be liberating and it can be intimidating. You can no longer use inaction as a shield to avoid responsibility. Instead, you have to accept your inner power, right? And the responsibilities it entails for many light workers, including me. This is the turning point, and it was for me too, in overcoming this plight of light worker syndrome, I'm going to call it, right? It will arrive, and when you decide that living a small, unfulfilling life is no longer acceptable to you, you will declare your readiness to tap into your true potential, regardless of the consequences. And you may have some fear, right? That you'll go broke or you'll encounter some overwhelming responsibilities, but you will understand that living your life's purpose is non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. You will, I don't know, you will decide to pursue it in this unwavering commitment, and you will trust that the universe supports you. In fact, you will say that to people. The universe supports me. Everything is coming to me easily. And you and your quest, this decision is where the magic, my friends, happens. So in the beginning, when I asked my friend, it's what's the catalyst going to be? This is the catalyst. Transformation, right? It's the catalyst of transformation, and it marks the beginning of a positive spiritual world where your connectiveness to your purpose and your groundedness in the physical world oh my gosh, reinforces each other. And once you have broken free from the fear of success and you fully embrace your inner power and your responsibilities, you enter this positive spiritual spiral of growth and abundance, and your actions become driven by it's beautiful, your life's purpose. And then this motivation is going to fuel you even further, and your efforts, your results, they're going to improve, leading to even increased more income and financial stability. As your income grows, so does your freedom and your capacity to pursue your spiritual journey with a greater dedication. And this is positive feedback loop that will amplify back on itself, because you're having an impact on the world and your senses, and you have your own sense of fulfillment, right? No one is having to fulfill you. You feel your own sense of fulfillment. If you identify as a light worker and you understand your primary mission is to accept and embrace your light work. I'm like, what is that? Commercial, sorry. I was playing some music and a commercial came on. You would be so shocked if you saw it. So you have to pay attention, because I'm telling you, consciousness is very subtle. And if you're not paying attention, it'll pass you by. So you have to identify as a light worker and understand that you have a primary mission. And you have to accept that, and you have to embrace it. You have to embrace your inner light and your purpose, and you have to let that shine so brightly that everyone sees it. And don't let another dim your light out because of self-doubt that they want to impose upon you, because it's their self-doubt, not yours. And if you ever feel the physical world is dragging you down or caving in on you, right, and bringing you down, that is a clear sign that you're not in vibrational harmony with your own light. It is going to be a knock on your door, and it's going to say you're not in vibration with who you are and what your purpose is. And so that's why you're feeling this way. And so you possess the power to change this narrative, and you can choose to align yourself with life's purpose. And you can say, you can tell the universe, I'm ready. I'm wholeheartedly pursuing my purpose. I trust that the universe will support me when I make this commitment, this decision. You will attract the help. You will attract the resources needed, and you will be amazed at how seemingly easy the path unfolds in front of you. You'll just go, oh my God, it's like magic. So you have to remember, you're not here to stand still. You're not here to stand still, and you're not here to remain small, my darling. Your presence on this planet carries a profound responsibility, and the world needs your light, your wisdom. You're a unique gift, and not not someday. Now, not someday in the far off, distant future. Let the fear of success leave you, right? Don't let the fear of success, of the comfort of complacency maybe, hold you back, right? Embrace your inner power, your inner light. And ask yourself some serious questions. You have the power to make a significant impact and inspire other people, and to be a beacon of hope and transformation and overcoming light worker syndrome. It's a transformative journey. We're all on it, and it's individual. So don't kick yourself in the ass. Don't be hard on yourself. Love yourself and take your time, right? The beacon of hope of transformation, that's you're overcoming this light worker syndrome. It's a transformative journey, and you might struggle with some emotional and mental challenges, and that begins to tell you that you're facing the problem, right? You're facing what needs to be faced. You're looking at it, and that begins to tell you that I'm facing my fears of success, and I'm accepting my inner power, and I'm harmonizing. And this is my spiritual calling. And with any practical needs that I have, and realizing that you can pursue your purpose and achieve financial abundance at the same damn time. Same damn time. You're not alone on this journey. Countless light workers are here with you and have faced similar challenges and emerged stronger and wiser and even more empowered than before. And so the world is awaiting for you to shine your light, shine it brightly, and to make a positive difference, right? So embrace your power and accept it. Step boldly onto that path and the fulfillment of abundance. Abundance doesn't necessarily just have to mean money, right? Abundance is everything. I'm abundant in love. I'm abundant in comfort. I'm abundant in food. I'm abundant in compassion, right? And so the world's waiting for you to shine that light, right? And you need to shine it so brightly and to make such a positive difference in the world and embrace that power and accept it. And the more boldly you embrace it and accept it and put out there into the universe, the more fulfilled your path will be and the more abundant it will become. It's the universe. It's the law of the universe and it must manifest. So the time is really, it's time to act now, people. Your light, you have such beautiful light, right? And I see your light. I see you. I see you and I see the light of consciousness within you. Maybe you don't see it yet. That's okay. It's not your fault. You will. It's coming, right? The time to act is now if you're an empath or a light worker, or you're even interested in walking a middle road and want to learn about that. Take the initiative to learn about that. And that might be your initiation, your catalyst to your awakening. You never know. So if you're saying the whole time in your head, I want to be a healer, I want to do this, or I want to do that because you've seen it or experienced it, take some classes. And during those classes, spirit will open up a door. And and you never know if it's a door that you would have never seen before because you didn't do what your heart's desire said to do. So do you, boo, your purpose. And the time is now. Just look around at the social media, the mass the mass chaos that's going on around us. We're upon this lunar eclipse that's coming up on the 25th. There's going to be a 3-day blackout. I know there is, and it's going to, and you heard it here. It's going to happen somewhere around April 8th. That's what I'm being shown. Something to have to do with April 8th. I don't know. I can't see all the symbols. She gives me sacred symbolism and I put it together like a puzzle. And so that's what she's showing me. So think about what I'm saying to you guys. The time is really now, and the world needs your light more than ever before. And the potential to illuminate the lives of so many, right, is so important, especially now during these difficult times. So don't hold back. Let your light shine. If you have a comment, if you want to know something, leave it down in the description. I know I was talking fast today, but that's spirit channeling through me, and I really am no control over that, and I apologize. I'm not going to apologize for it because she's channeling through me. So I see a lot of light worker syndrome going on YouTube, on social media, in the surrounding areas in my environment. People are in a state of fear, and they're in a state of fear for a number of reasons. And so if you're finding yourself in a state of fear and trapped in the mind with some mental, anguish, and you need some help, reach out to me. I do one-on-one with people. Happy to help in any way that I can. Please leave a comment, share the videos, because others may be looking for this content. It might be exactly what they needed to hear today or tomorrow or whenever they listen to it, right? Is the right time, is the perfect time. That's why I say, if you have a dream during this lunar eclipse, right, with Libra, launch the dream. Take one baby step towards that dream and launch that step. And that will show spirit your intention, right? Because if you have an intention that's full of love, unconditional compassion, love, and peace for humanity, creator, and yourself, the universe is going to open up for you, just as it has me. So even in the light of cancer coming and trying to take my light away, it's losing. I'm taking its name and kicking its ass, right? And so that's not me, that's creator. I'm just doing the next of the action that's required of me. That's it. And leaving the rest in his hands, her hands, however you want to say it. So you guys, I love you so much. I love you. I do so much. And when I say that, I say it so many times because a lot of people never hear the word I love you. And if I could give you a big hug, I would give you the biggest hug that I could, because we are habitual creatures and we love human touch. And sometimes we're not told that we're loved and we're not shown by touch. And so I'm giving you a huge virtual hug, and I love you today, and you're beautiful and you're important and you're special and you are unique, and the world needs you, and no one can do your job but you. So your purpose, your world's purpose, your purpose is needed in the world, and no one else can fulfill that but you. Think about that. No one else. And so jump on board. We are in some challenging times with these energies. Get on board with these energies. If you need help in any way, just leave a comment, email me. Everything is down in the description or the tag section of this video. And I will bring you guys another video back very, very soon. I hope you have a blessed day and happy Thursday. I'm going to go make some chicken noodle soup, I think. Namaste, everybody.